Please permit me to also welcome amongst us the Chairman House Committee on FCT, Mr. Ima Jime, who has just joined us. Sir, you're most welcome.
Thank you. The most distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my boss, my chairman, my bosom friend, most distinguished Senator Smart Adeyemi, and other distinguished senators here present, the Chairman, House Committee on FCT, Right Honorable Emmanuel Jime, who is also a bosom friend, the host minister, my brother, Minister of Information, Mr. Lamaram Maku, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, the one that I call my boss, Mrs. Ama Pepo, the Head of Service of the Federation, my sister, my colleague, my friend, the Honorable Minister of State FCT, Oloye Olajumoke Akinjide, permanent secretaries here present, especially our own in the FCT and that of Housing, my friend Ibrahim Mahe, heads of extra-ministerial organizations, especially the Executive Secretary FCDA, directors here present, the President, Market Women Association of Nigeria, my mother, Chief Eleshi Asani, and other members of the civil society, members of the press, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I'm highly delighted to be here. First, I must express my appreciation to His Excellency, Mr. President, for giving us the opportunity, and also Mr. Vice President, and indeed the corporate Nigerians. I must also express my delight to the Senate, my primary constituency, and indeed the National Assembly, as can be testified by the presence of my bosom friend, the chairman that is oversighting me, a vibrant senator and a vibrant House member from the House of Representatives. Their presence here is by no means a compromise of their responsibility, but they are putting me on the edge. Anytime I see them, I know they will never spare me just because of friendship. They must carry their oversight function to the letter. You are most welcome. So I must be very careful on what I say. Distinguished Nigerians, what we are going to present is a report of the FCT on behalf of myself and my colleague, the Honorable Minister of State FCT. We are going to give you an outline of our presentation, which is if you are following me on the screen, it is comprising of our vision, mission, and of course our mandates, the services we do, and our problems and challenges. Next, we have the vision, mission, and mandate. And the mandate is categorized into four: providing an effective and efficient administrative framework for governing or administering the FCT, provision of critical infrastructure, provision of services to the FCT residents, wealth creation and poverty reduction, provision of safe and secure environment. This is because though we are a ministry, we are a territory, and we have responsibilities and duties akin to a state as captured in Section 299 of the Constitution. I will start with Mandate 1, that is providing an effective and efficient administrative framework, where I talk of the administering responsibilities of myself and my colleague of the FCT, the Area Council, and of course all the parastatals, 85 directors, and mandate secretariats who are just like commissioners at par with their compatriots in the states. You can see the organigram of the FCT. I wouldn't waste time because everybody knows, as I said, we are just like a state, and of course we are a territory, and we are discharging this responsibility on delegated capacity on behalf of His Excellency, the President Commander-in-Chief. One of the areas that I would say that need mention is the issue of departmentalization of the FCT. We have 78 departments, and then we have just created 2 new departments in order to show you how we are expanding and we are opening new frontiers. One of the areas is the Department of Signage and Advertisement, and of course the Emergency Management Department. This is at the directives of the economic management of the country under His Excellency, Mr. Vice President. You can see how we have been able to bring good governance to bear on the administration of the FCT by reducing litigation from 1,700 cases to 800 cases, between over 200 cases resolved through alternative dispute resolution, because ours is an area where there is a lot of conflict and mistrust, and of course dissension and then conflict between the civil society, the civil population, and indeed even interministerial in terms of land allocation and land administration. But certainly we have brought fidelity, sincerity and honesty to bear on the administration of land, which is having salutary effects on the way we are conceived as an administration and as a jurisdiction. And that's why the litigation that had hitherto hampered our own capacity to administer and develop the Federal Capital Territory has really been reduced. You can see the court cases and the rest that have been reduced, and the money that we have been able to generate arising from that. We have also come up with some initiatives and policies geared towards making sure that we provide a sound institutional framework for administering the territory. Development Control has come with a policy that reduces the time for giving approvals and of course making oversight on some of this encroachment within the territory, so that we can have a safe and secure nation, not just because we want to demolish buildings, because we want to cause pain and waste. We have established guidelines on neighborhood association in conjunction with the police, commercial fencing of commercial plots and so on and so forth, provision of ramps in the commercial buildings, land swap initiative, which is a land for infrastructure initiative, aimed at making sure that we reduce the housing deficit, the housing gaps, the infrastructural gaps in the districts that we have so far only developed 11, and we are so much on the way of making sure that we develop similar number of districts within the period of the transformation agenda during the tenure of Mr. President, leveraging on private capital to develop the area council, to develop the city with 15 districts. We have also brought a policy on accelerated area council, sectional title reissuance. Since the inception of Abuja, we have given over 200,000 titles, but they have not been given out certificate of occupancy so that people will have these titles to use them as collateral, and it's causing a lot of confusion in terms of developing the satellite towns and even the city, because some portions have been given by the area council. We have also come up with a security trust fund initiative, because we are not coming back to all this. That's why I'm taking time to just mention a few words on them, so that we can use the private sector, use corporate social responsibility, the organized civil society to give a very sound institutional framework for the provision of finance, equipment, to our security framework, so that Abuja will be safe and secure. Guideline of mass housing is also being developed. Development of information technology policy, where we use e-payment in all our own endeavors. Parking policy that is having some hiccups, but we are trying to fine-tune. We have inherited this policy from the previous administration, but we are trying to make sure that at least we bring good governance, safe city concept in the administration of the city. We can see the number of policies in terms of KPIs, number of policy initiatives. We planned 8, but we have been able to do 8. Reduction in litigation, we plan to reduce it by 800, but we have achieved 786. Number of stakeholders engagement conducted, 200 in 2012, and the actual one we have done is 250. IGR increase, this is very critical. We plan to get it to increase our IGR by 75%, but we have increased it by 35%, which is the first time any FCT administration is doing that. Successful PPP transaction completed. We have completed 7, we plan 10. Mandate number 2 is the provision of critical infrastructure. Under that, you have seen all our initiatives approved through appropriation. I'm happy my bosses are here, the Chairman Senate Committee on FCT, the House Committee on FCT. All these have been oversighted by them and they have been approved. We have been implementing some of them that we did not even initiate, but we made sure that whatever we appropriated is in tandem with Mr. President's policy of continuity and dynamism, where even though we did not conceptualize or initiated any policy or any program or project, we made sure that they are completed. You can see them, they are giving very good salutary effect on the territory. Rehabilitation and expansion of airport lot 1 and 2, and of course the outer expressway Kubwa, the access within the city. There are so many, I will have to run through them, and they are given in percentages. While we found them in 2011, for example, last time in 2010 when I came, the airport road was only at the point of groundbreaking. On 2011 we took it to 40%, and by now it is 78%. The same thing with the other lot, 75%, but now it's 98%. They are all provided because I will give you a booklet of our report so that you can go away with it. Time will not permit me to give you all the details in terms of specifics, but they are all here captured. For the infrastructure, they are 1 to 20, and the list of projects for districts, they are also captured. You can see what we have done in the various districts that we have inherited. For example, number 1, we have been able in 2011 to do the groundbreaking ceremony. We have taken it to 11%, and then the second one, we also did it in 2011, and it is 34% in 2011, 55%. This particular one, we are heavily indebted to the contractor, but because he believes in the country, he believes in the tenure of Mr. President, he believes in FCT, he continues to do his job, and of course we are indebted to the tune of about 7 billion to him, but he has confidence in Nigeria. We are going to make sure that we have developed a very sound financial plan to make sure we pay him, because he has really reciprocated what we are doing. All the 1 to 15 that the district development, including the satellite towns. Time may not permit me, you can see, but I need to mention, because of the emphasis on satellite town development under my sister, you can see Karshi provision from 41% to 73%. For Kubwa satellite town, 51%, it has been taken to 75%, and then Galushere from 12% to 18%. Just to show you that Mr. President has re-established the Satellite Town Development Agency so that he can bring to the forefront, to the front banner, the issue of development of the satellite town to decongest the city, because hitherto the development has not been equal, and of course you have a situation where amenities are not provided in the satellite town, and that is discouraging settlement in those areas. What have we delivered on infrastructure? You can see in the summary, we have provided 5,824 commercial and residential plots in Jahi and Uwe, Kalgini, Maichama extension, otherwise the Gulna district, Katempe district, and so on. Ready access to about 2,300 plots for development of building structures in Buhari, Kubwa, Karshi satellite towns. These places are ready. We have been given orders and directives along our own responsibility to encourage those title holders to make sure they go and build their plots, because water and primary infrastructure have been provided in those places, and certainly we cannot continue to condone where those plots are being frozen in the suitcases of some people without developing them, thereby making it very difficult for my sister Amapepo to reduce the housing deficit. Provided access to 240 commercial and industrial plots, created direct employment to about 50,000 Nigerians in the Federal Capital Territory, about 25,000 in the satellite towns. We have also been able, because of the provision of infrastructure, to reduce travel time from 50 minutes in 2011 to 30 minutes in 2013 between the city airport and Juba Kubwa exit. We have just been modest, because around the Kubwa's axis, it used to take the civil servant about 2 hours to come into the city, but now you can just travel because we have expanded it by 10 lanes. We will give you a video of 5 minutes clip for you to see it for yourself. Accident rate has been reduced by more than 70% on our roads. Elimination of incidences of armed robbery on the expressway, because you cannot stop people. This is the video I'm saying. maybe you can come along with me so that you can see. See the pictures should come in this. I don't know why my pastor is coming. You can see one of the address where we have expanded from 2 lane, 10 lane. Of course, I use this video to show you the kind of problems and challenges. Of course, this development, because we have reduced, we have removed all the trees along the road. Now we have a bunch of making sure we partner women development, of course our excellence is helping the cost saving, planting along this cost area. We are providing employment to about 10,000 women and youth along this corridor. You can see on video. But with it also we have problems of demography. People are coming into the city and you can see approaching the left, right and center of the city. And of course people are using the corridor to sell their vehicles, do a lot of trading, and I will show you on the other side where even the pedestrian bridges are being used as markets and so on and so forth. So the system of operation of the city, make sure that it's operated. You can see how we change the skyline by the expansion of the illumination of the line. You can see how these people has come to stay as a city of pride to any Nigerian, and this is achieved by all modesty under His Excellency Dr. Bala Genesis tenure. This is the outer address we're going to do and it's 50 kilometer stretch. You can see the bridges that are we also need to provide some trees along the side but I aim that area to come back and approach people who use it as a place where we sell handcars, hand equipment and so on and so forth. That is not a pleasant side for us. Very soon come and enforce it. But while we are enforcing it, we are using this medium for persuasion to tell Nigerians that we will provide an automated village where if you want to take some handcars, new all the equipment, you just go there. You can see how also we have removed the minibuses, and you have seen the board is clear of all encumbrances. Because you have seen the type of buses, we have encouraged private participation in planning infrastructure. Democratic you can see how the police are being used as a market. Because people are really looking for avenues where they can express themselves in terms of trade and commerce. That's why we are expanding our Abuja Investment Agency under the Abuja market is opening so many markets. We will show you later after this video how we are doing it. I'm taking this as a comment for you to see the kind of challenges we have on our roads. Within the same video, I'm showing the illumination which we have increased. This is the inner Southern Expressway within the city, from the Bala to the end of the city, going towards the airport, and we have expanded it using our IGR. Lower Usman Dam and Guraro Road, we have opened a road through Bari that you can access Kaduna, not necessarily through Suleja, and we intend to expand it by 2 lanes. Thanks to the National Assembly, we have been able to do this within 12 months. And then, of course, many residents are happy because they have alternative routes. You can see people follow that area. We have a double-edged advantage, providing access to our dam that is recharging water in Abuja. This is the complementary projects and program within the city. You have just noticed that we have opened the bridge along Jabi, going to Gwagwa, and this is the complementary project that we have started from 2011 and completed it. Another one is going through from Wusel to Gwarimpa that we have opened, and that's part and parcel of the complementary project that we have been able to complete during this period. We are showing this pictorial because pictures don't lie. They are there to show what we have done in terms of leaving legacies and landmarks during the tenure of His Excellency, actually by his very serious support, because we wouldn't have done that. Karmo Residential District, we have been able to almost complete it. This is just to show you some pictures of how we are reducing the deficit, how we are encouraging development, cutting away from the practice of the past where land is being put in the suitcases. You can see how it is being opened. It used to be just a district without infrastructure, but now we have gone very well. I want to again and again emphasize our gratitude to the Arab contractors. They have gone very far, and they have won 78% of this project without necessarily being paid. That has shown confidence, and will definitely reciprocate by making sure that we source for money within our cash flow to pay them off. Jahi, that is another district that we have started. We can see people building because we have opened up the districts. And there are so many districts like this that we cannot come back and discuss, because we are here to show you what we have done during the period, me and my colleague, the Honorable Minister of State. Jahi is on the northwestern part of the city, and hitherto it was just a forest, and now you can see people are already building, and so on and so forth. I'm moving faster than the presentation on my laptop. Maybe I will have to be using this one. Okay. So, as I have already explained all this thing, I don't know whether there is any mechanism for this to be fast-tracked so that we can go within time. This is the Kabaya. This is Lower Usman, as I said, Urara Road that we have opened. That is good. You can access Kaduna through Bari without necessarily going to Sleja, and you reduce the air travel time from Abuja to Kaduna by about 30 minutes. And then, of course, all this congestion is going on. And then the complementary programs that we say we are doing is on screen. It is just we have built some bridges and some roads going to Gwagwa, where most of our people settle. Hitherto, you have to go through the life camp, but now the road has been opened just last week because we have really completed it. And then, of course, the one that is coming from Usetu. All these are some of the projects and programs. Thank you very much for seeing the video. Transportation, Abuja Mass Transit, thank you, the Honorable Minister, you have spoken about it. We inherited it when it was almost about 10%. We took it to 22% in 2011. And now, because I must emphasize and thank Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, for making us to access about $500 million as a loan, soft loan, within the period, and they have restarted the project. And I must also thank the National Assembly for bringing it within the borrowing plan, and certainly they have started taking their money, because even before we have gotten the money, we had so many certificates of valuation that have not been paid. Now we are going to do groundbreaking ceremony for about 15 stations along this corridor, and the corridor is from the city center going to the airport and branching off to Kubwa, which is going to open a lot of areas with an affordable transit system. On the street parking, we have you have seen how we have been able to bring the project, although it is not something that most Nigerians are happy with, because it has its hiccups. People are used to parking anyhow, but we cannot continue to have a city where the whole corridors constitute a car park. We must bring some semblance of control and enforcement, and that's why we are doing this. There are some hiccups, as I said. Even the sharing formula of the revenue is not well conceptualized, and so we are reviewing it very soon, because we are a listening government. We have listened to some complaints from the public. Even the National Assembly, my friend Smart Ademi and the Chairman Jimmy, they have been spanking me that this is not very popular, but I have pleaded with them to allow us look inward so that we can make it workable. Signalized sections upgraded, 126. I must express our gratitude to the Ministry of National Planning, because we have accessed some multilateral assistance where we are going to. You will notice most of our own intersection, the signaling is not working. The Chinese government is going to remediate about 82 of them, and that is just free of charge. Also, along this line, you can see we have provided delineators, solar warning lights, anti-glare curtains. All this is to make our corridors beautiful and to serve as a early warning to motorists, so that, that we will reduce accidents and incidents. Traffic signs, speed bumps have been removed, and then additional vehicle registered. You can see about 20,000 people are coming all the time. Solar warning lights, you can see them blinking to you so that you will know where to turn. All these are something that are reminiscences of what you find in the best cities of the world that we have brought to Abuja, and definitely they have worked and they have reduced incidents and accidents. Sorry, I want to bring you back to Abuja taxi scheme that we have and the high capacity buses by the enforcement of the routing system in tandem with our own master plan. We have removed the buses not because we wanted to cause pain to them. but because we want to give them something better, and because they are causing obstruction, and because we cannot, the corridors are too small at this material time to provide safe commutation between the satellite town and the city. And because those corridors are meant for high capacity buses where about 100 will take the commuters, and because of the indiscipline that is reminiscent of their behavior on the area, on all the corridors. So we have increased our buses from 150 in 2011 recently to 370 by giving operators license to private sector developers, and also repairing our fleet within Abuja urban and mass transit system. We are using Shopee that was given to us by the federal government. And then we also conceptualize the Abuja Taxi scheme, where we provide some support and solace as a form of palliation to those people that were driving the dumper buses, because certainly they must provide food on the table. And we are giving them with subsidy, with a lot of guarantee to make sure that rather than becoming dumper drivers throughout their lives, they will be transformed to become brand new car owners. And we intend to have about 1,000 before the end of the year, because we will use all sources of Shopee to buy more. We have just started with 160. You can see the new phase of transportation infrastructure in the FCT. You can see the buses. This is even private sector driven, and then of course our own. Okay, this is the new phase of transportation. I think we have a problem with my laptop. My laptop is moving faster than this thing. These are the buses that we have. This is a video, and it's a moving. You can see the kind of buses that we have provided that is removing all the confusion, the high capacity buses in operation. And of course, you can see them in different colors. Those colors reflect the operator's license that we have given within the territory. I don't know why it's slowing. It's going back again, and so that you can see what we have provided in tangible terms with the Vice President just last week, and they have been distributed evenly within justice and equity. And of course, as I told you earlier on, Senator Smart Ademi had even asked me that this thing must be distributed with justice and equity, because people are already complaining, maybe I'm giving this to people from my immediate geographical area or the Secretary of Transportation. All these fears should be allayed. We'll make sure that it will be done with justice and equity, so that federal character principle will be enforced while looking at those that are beneficiaries. You can see the light rail, where we have taken it. Well, it has gone 22%, and of course, we have secured all the rolling stocks, all the sleepers, all the material for the completion of this project, and they are all in stock. We have visited that place during the Good Governance tour, and what we are waiting is to launch the groundbreaking ceremony for the stations along the corridor, which I said there are 15 in number. Some of the policies that I said is that we have conceptualized the land swap model. FCT administration is to grant a greater percentage of land in the Greenfield district to a developer for real property development under a special contract envisaged by the Land Use Act. We are doing this because the minister has delegated powers to give land, but in doing that, we are improving on what my predecessors did, and I commend them for doing what they did. They were doing to reduce the housing deficit. First of all, the accelerated development program of my predecessors and the mass housing, but they were greeted with a lot of problems of misconceptualization. And now we are trying to do that through stakeholding, making sure we borrow from the best practice around the world, and that's why we came up with the land swap, where we give land to Nigerian companies, to foreign companies that come into partnership to provide the infrastructure, and we use a portion of the land to defray the cost of the infrastructure, because government will not be able to defray the huge cost. And you can see the area where we are doing in Abuja phase 4, and these are the districts Shariti and Keti, within Shariti and Keti and Brum. And of course, we even had some misconceptualization due to mistrust and suspicion expressed by the original inhabitants of Abuja, thinking that the land Definitely the administration in terms of community development, community relation is going to lead us to this kind of apprehensions, because as we are expanding and opening new frontiers, we are increasingly forcing the inhabitants to the brinks, and they feel unsafe unless because they are assured of their own rights within the settlement and compensation framework. So we decided to discuss with them to integrate them or to resettle them outrightly. At the same time, conceptualizing the projects with the cost of resettlement embedded in the cost, a departure from the old practice where you will conceptualize district development without taking into cognizance the rights and privileges of the original settlers in terms of their own rights. You have seen them in Garki, they are still there, in Wuse, in Jabi, in Gusape, and in Wuye. They are all there because federal government had not been able to do that. But in the new projects, we want to make sure we take care of their responsibilities and their own rights and to settle them, and we do it together. This is the district, and this is a resume on how far we have gone in terms of this is the district of the land swap district. This is how far we have gone. Please move ahead. This is how we have gone, the achievement of each developer, how far they have gone in terms of getting ready to groundbreaking. We have only done groundbreaking ceremony for one which is within the city, that is for the Pezora within the Sokoro extension. Next, please. All this is just an achievement, how far we have done, district by district, investor by investor. Next, please. Next, please. Next, they are all on the Abuja Industrial Park. You see what we have done. We are just this is also a very noble initiative of the Abuja Federal Capital Territory, where we source for investment from a Turkish company. He is going to put in about $200 million of his own money to provide infrastructure, and then of course on an area that is earmarked within the master plan as an industrial park. We are doing this to create employment and also to service the city because of the demographics. The city has graduated from 1 million to about 5 to 6 million today. And we must have some light industries to service the needs of the city in terms of their household needs. And that's why we have done this. It is going to have about 177 plots. At the end of the day, it will cost about $101.6 billion in terms of actual infrastructure that will have there. It will have an independent power, and it will employ about 40,000 all semi and unskilled people within the district. And next, please. I've just been told, but this video is not been. I don't know who is controlling it because it is slowing us down. This maybe we will have to share the video and then go into mandatory. Provision of services to FCT residents. You can see under education what we have done. We have done a revolution. Although we have been bombarded by the demographics, people coming into the city, looking for greener pastures, looking for better services, we have not been insensitive to the needs. We made sure we repositioned ourselves, and we had earlier on accessed about 10 billion naira from the National Assembly to provide, to upgrade our educational infrastructure. And 28 new schools were established, 85 schools made of both public and private schools accredited, about 1,553 classrooms completed during the period, 107 private schools have been given permission, 29 learners graduate from the vocational training centers, training of 400 adult members, 22,468 pupils, students were indigents, and indigents were given educational support to the tune of 404 million, because our scholarship takes cognizance of all strata of education from the tertiary to primary, because there are some families that cannot even afford to educate their children at the primary and secondary level. So we give scholarship. 120 mathematical teachers trained, 12 science lab and intro technology labs were constructed, 1,375 sets of furniture were provided in all those places. 1,308 pupils, student, teacher, textbooks were procured, textbooks, special needs facilities were also created, and indeed a lot of infrastructure to make our education sound so that the quality will be okay. And you can see this has been typified and testified by the kind of laurels that we have won. Junior secondary school Chukoi took first position in all the competition organized by the students of the advancement of global entrepreneurship set. Those competitions were held in Ukraine in 2007, Nigeria in 2008, Brazil in 2009, and USA in 2011. These are laurels that we have competed with other schools all over the world, and our students came first. You can see the indicators. I don't have to go through because there is no time. They are all on areas of gross enrollment, indicator 2, retention, that is movement from primary to secondary to tertiary. You can see the percentage. We are the only territory in this part of the country that retention and movement is 97% on the 90 side, because somehow in other places they could not have the facility to carry them. We have so many universities in the city now that are accommodating what we have produced at the lower level. You can see indicator for pupils, student, teacher, co-teachers. Here in the territory, student-teacher ratio is about 15 or 20. In other states, it is 200, 300. We even have more teachers than the pupils that we have. But certainly we are trying to position so that we can procure more core teachers in the areas of mathematics and sciences. All the indicators, I cannot read of them, all of them, because of time constraint. On the health sector, you can see what we have done as a revolution to make sure we position ourselves to compete with the private service providers. We have concession some areas in the city and in the outskirts. We have provided equipment for diagnostic and investigation, because radiography is the key to bequeathing medical services. And we have procured some equipment like mammograms, like CT scan. What you will find in a private hospital, you find in Abuja government hospital. That's where we are. And then of course, we made sure that for those in the rural area, we give 0 to 5 free medical services, and that has also earned us a laurel in the Myelapia program, where the United Nations single out Nigeria, single out FCT to give us an award that we are going to collect by me and the head of service in the next month. You can see what we have done. There is no time because I've been asked to be very critical of the time, and then I will just go. I have mentioned about Myelapia and the rural infrastructure that we have provided in terms of even the insurance, community insurance scheme, where we have brought about 365 communities together, and we are trying to build capacity, institutional framework for sustainable provision of health services to the community, trying to really encourage them to bring out their own initiative, their own contributions, so that they will not continue to be indigent and dependent. And so definitely it's working and it's worthy of emulation. We have been getting a lot of commendations. Can we go to the next place? City management, that's where we have, this is a community-based services. Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, and under it we have the development control, we have the facility management, we have the urban affairs where we take care of emergencies and so on and so forth. You can see the number. Under this we have completion of setting out approvals. As I said, we made sure that we came up with policies where we trying to have an e-payment, e-facilities where our own approval will be issued as and when due. And of course, we have seen what we have done to remove some encroachments. And of course, this is the area that is not very popular, where we have people coming to see some people's plots and they start building, and we are forced out of responsibility to remove those buildings, not because we want to cause pain and waste to them, but because we must service the other people who have these entitlements, who have paid for them, and because we cannot encourage impunity in the territory. In as much as we want to be governed by persuasion and humility, but certainly we cannot be dared to accommodate all this backwardness and impunity that is pervading everywhere. We go to the next. All these are part of the services that we have given in terms of land administration. Since we came about, we have given about 150,000 certificate of occupancies. We don't wait for people to know us. We make sure whenever they are paid, you can see all the statistics provided. I'm told time is on our, not on our side, so I will not give you all the details, but the booklet that is there will be distributed to all those who come for this briefing. The consent, the mortgages, the subdivisions, all the leases, quarries, and what have you, all the things that we have done are provided in statistical form. Can we move with this, please, so that people will be on the same page with my presentation? Can you move, please? Social services. Social services, that's where we take care of all the people that we see on the street. Some beggars, street traders, commercial sex workers. Our posture is not to brutalize them or to persecute them. We are just poised to provide service to rehabilitate them and make them good members of the society. You can see what we have done in terms of making sure we evacuate destitutes and take them to rehabilitation centers. Some of them we take them back to their state. But it's a very, very difficult social menace that we are caught in between the humane service we are providing, and of course the microeconomics and the responsibility of government not to criminalize poverty and despondency. And that's why we make sure we do it with a lot of tact, establishing rehabilitation centers. My sister is doing so well, and we have gotten some private sector that is helping us to do it within the framework of Child Rights Acts, so that at least we will not be seen to be persecuting anybody. But we will please plead with the inhabitants to help us, not to be patronizing those street traders, not to be patronizing those beggars, because they will be encouraged. Here is a place of opportunity. Everybody comes. You will see so many of them on the street. It is not that we are not removing them. We are removing them on a daily basis, but because they are patronized, because they make so much money, and because we cannot be everywhere, the demographics is mesmerizing them, we cannot definitely get all of them out of the way. And so please, we are asking for your cooperation as residents and as members of the society. Next is the provision of service, same provision of services. Mandate number 4 is, can we go to the next mandate, which is the last one? Provision. Okay, wealth creation and poverty reduction. That's where we provide services to the FCT residents in terms of agri services, in terms of security, in terms of all services that will make it safe and secure, and also augment the microeconomic positions of the people within the territory, especially in the satellite town. You can see what we have done in terms of making sure we provide some services of agriculture. We have opened up a whole area called in the territory in Buari, where we imbibe what is done in Shongai Farm, in Port Novo, and in Plateau, and of course we are trying to bring best practice. Establish film farms all over so that we can encourage the provision of nutrients and nutrition within the city. Our Padama production project, 115 communities have been reached, and establish meat haulage companies so that we can give you hygienic meat. We are using very good vehicles to make sure we carry the meat, not the way a manner we carry them on motorcycles on the very unhygienic vehicles that has hitherto been the practice in the territory. Artificial insemination center, where we do some patterning for cows, is also established within the period. Fogging exercise, you will see some smoke sometimes. It's for us. It's Abuja that you will come, you will not see mosquitoes. It is not just like this. It is because we have gotten some money from Smart Academy, and we make sure that we fog the city and remove most of this thing. Although we will not remove all the insects and the mosquitoes, but certainly we are reducing them so that we don't have a problem. Next, please. Tractor ownership scheme, you can see what we have done. We brought tractors and give them a subsidy. Anti-rabies, dry season, farming is also at the forefront. 6,000 households have been captured. FCT, commercial agriculture scheme, we have deployed about 414 million, and then we are capturing about 1,171 farmers. Growth enhancement scheme, we have keyed in with the federal government program to make sure we give fertilizer. Performance indicators are all there. You can see what number of population below 15 naira, that is 25.8% only. Number of jobs created through agricultural activities is 30,000. Number of jobs created through empowering communities, 3,200. We make sure we capture the youth, the women, and the local farmers so that we will beef up our stock, buffer stock. We have a scheme where we buy off all the farm produce from them, put them in a stock, and when it is a difficult time, we bring it out and sell it to them. Hitherto we used to go to Kaduna State, Benue State to buy the stock. Now because we have done this thing, we are getting all our supply within the Federal Capital Territory. Next, please. Next. All these are indicators, the hectarage of farm and the yield and so on and forth. So because I was told that my time is getting up, number of livestock heads, all these are also statistics of how we have been able to bring science and technology to assist people in partnering in agriculture. Wealth creation, you can see how we have opened new markets. They are there in Aura, in Mabushi. People are moving, and we are going to open more. We are even partnering with Abuja, with the market women, to give them a place where they will have a market of their own, and of course, create some kind of wealth creation. You can see the new market that we have opened just along Jabi. It is because we have opened Jahi, and it is everybody got there. Can we go to the next, please? This video is going to take time. Provision of safe and secure environment. This is the last one, about security. Your security is our business. There is no city that will be safe and secure without having a sound institutional framework, without having a well-developed framework between the administration, the local authorities, and the security agencies. Here we have one. Even this activity, we make sure that it follows our framework, where you can see it is not just for nothing that you see crowd management has taken to a level. Since the bombardment that happened in Abuja, we made sure we established a sound framework through our own offices to encourage the security agencies to provide safe and secure environment for people, especially our multidimensional people, mixed society, where you have diplomats, people coming from all over the world. We make sure that they are not only safe in terms of lives and property, even their investments are safe. And that's why we must thank our own security agencies that we meet all the time. You can see how many vehicles we have given, about 78, and we are giving them some kind of support in addition to their own budgeted to make sure that they give you surveillance. You wake up in the night in Abuja, you go to everywhere, you see police everywhere. We will not tell you other things that we are doing in terms of deployment of security infrastructure to make you safe and secure, because that would amount to insecurity, divulging information that was otherwise security information. But I want you to be rest assured that we are doing so much. Mr. President is doing so much. You can see the deployment of ICT. You can see the deployment of primary infrastructure to make sure that even the light that we are lightening the city that used to be removed in the past, it is still there. Nobody removed it. Don't ask me how we do it. We are doing it because we have really planned for it. We have also established a regional security outfit called the G7, where we discuss with the states contiguous to FCT, with all the state governors. The commissioner of police have their own technical, because monitoring and evaluation is the key. What is happening in Nasarawa affects FCT. What is happening in Niger affects FCT, and so in Kaduna. And I must express our delight and appreciation to the governors contiguous to FCT for giving us all the support and assistance, because we are doing it collectively for our collective good. Use of information layers, we are just using some ordinary Nigerians to give us information and all the nooks and crannies of the city, so that if you are doing something you wouldn't know, it is not only the police that is looking at you. We are paying to get information. And that is working, because at the end of the day, we give the police the information. We have caught so many armed robbers, we have caught so many burglars, we have caught so many small misdemeanors and crime. We have reduced it drastically by 70%, in spite of the increase in demographics and population in the city, in spite of the fact that this is where even the thief, even the armed robber will have something to steal. We make it impossible for him to steal. So thank you very much. You can see the summary. If we can go quickly, I will go to the summary, the conclusion. You can see what we have done in terms of making sure waste management is taken to the next level. We concession the collection. We use private companies to do it. We want to replicate it in the area council. And by that means, we would have removed the burden of collection and deployment to various areas. We have serious challenges, definitely. There are very few. Legislation, I'm happy my people are here. They are helping us so much. We must have sound institutional framework, so that what we are doing will be deepened, so that what we are doing will not be casual and ad hoc, so that what we are doing will not only live when Bala and Akinjide are in FCT, so that it will contain and be sustained. And we are with Senator Smart Ademi and his colleague, Senator Honorable Jimmy, for helping us. All the legislation, the bills that we have littered that have not been done, I must express our thanks that they are giving it due attention. Very soon we are going to have the revenue board, the property tax, and so on and so forth. This will give us capacity. This will make us even exit from the federal budget, because we will be plugging all the leakages and gaps in our institution for IGR collection and so on and so forth, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to be okay. Demographics, I say urbanization, my sister will come and tell you how urbanization is affecting everybody. It's not only FCT, but ours is what we know, because we are the center, we are a capital for everybody, and this is where everybody is free and equal, and of course, people gravitate to this place. Resettlement and compensation, since the inception, we have about 150 billion naira for resettlement and compensation that we have not been able to settle, because you can see Garki is there, as I said, Wuye is there, Gusabe is there, Jabi is there. Government had not been budgeting the cost of resettlement and compensation embedded in the cost of the primary infrastructure. It is only during His Excellency Dr. Bala Jennison's time that we are trying to look inward to make sure, right from the conceptualization period or moment, the cost of resettlement and compensation are taken care of. We have funding issues. Our project and program that we have shown you is about 1.5 trillion naira. The debt profile is about 401 billion naira. But certainly, still, we are having a robust cash flow arrangement, where we spread whatever we get from the Federation account, we spread whatever we get from the statutory budget in terms of our RGR, to do justice and equity to these contractors that we are indebted to. And that's why they are continuing, and they are believing in the Abuja project. Certainly, we will need a lot of support from Mr. President and the National Assembly, so that we will be able to live out to our obligation, to our contractual obligation to the contractors. In conclusion, Abuja is the fastest growing city in the continent of Africa and one of the fastest growing cities in the world. In the last 3 months, we have received more than 20 delegations from USA, Canada, India, Brazil, Pakistan, Singapore, Poland, Sudan, Trinidad and Tobago, to mention a few. We have received sister twinning requests from cities like Addis Ababa, Khartoum, Rio, Grenada, etc. We have just won the hosting rights for the forthcoming World Economic Forum in Abuja. This is a testimony that Abuja is working, and that's a testimony that we are working. We thank you most sincerely. We thank Mr. President and all of you. Thank you.
It shows that they have been working together. So may we now invite her to please come forward and within 10 minutes only, to tell Nigerians what she is doing in her own sector. Honorable Minister of State, FCT, please come and tell Nigerians what you are doing in your own area.
Thank you very much. Chairman of the Senate Committee on the FCT, distinguished Senator Smata Adeyemi, the Chairman House Committee on FCT, Right Honorable Emmanuel Jime, the Chief Host today, my colleague and my brother, Honorable Minister of Information, Labaran Maku, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, our senior sister, Ms. Ama Pepple, and my brother and colleague, the leader of the FCT administration, the Honorable Minister of FCT, distinguished Senator Bala Mohammed, CON. We're very grateful that the head of service himself is here of the Federation, Alaji Goni Aji, and I want to stand on all existing protocols because of the short time we have. Well, the Minister of FCT has given us most of what we are doing in the territory. For me, it's just to highlight a few areas. First of all, the Satellite Town Development Agency. This is part of Mr. President's transformation agenda. As we say in the territory, this is the 36th year of the Federal Capital Territory. The first 35 years we spent, rightly so, concentrating on building infrastructure in the Federal Capital City. But now we know that about 80% of the people in the territory actually live in the satellite towns. So Mr. President, in November 2011, by executive order, re-established the Satellite Town Development Agency to put the T back in the FCT so that we develop the territory as a whole and we are not only city-centric. The STD development, Karshi, Satellite Town, again 2 districts, and Buari, there are 2 districts. Now, this is just the beginning. Last month, the Karshi Satellite Town was also given a water project because they are not connected to the water supply of the city. So there's 20 billion that is going into providing water for Karshi and the environs of Karshi. And significantly, we want to thank His Excellency Mr. President for admitting these 3 projects into the national priority budget. This is the first time that satellite town projects are coming into the national priority budget, and we thank him for that. Secondly, I want to talk about the area councils. As you know, we have 6 area councils in the Federal Capital. Kuje, Plan for Development, partnering with the 3rd tier of government. I'm particularly proud of the Community Health Insurance Scheme. The Honorable Minister mentioned it. The scheme has today a pilot of 10,000 citizens, and it is 15,000 naira for 1 year health insurance for a family of 6, husband, wife, and 4 children. Just 15,000 naira. And the citizen only contributes 1,500 naira. 13,500 naira is paid for, subsidized by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. We're very proud of this, and we think that this is the way to go. Secondly, in terms of PPP, you have heard that we do not have enough money as a government to do everything that we need to do, so we need to attract capital. And the Federal Capital Territory has been attracting people to do what we cannot do. And one of them is the Utako Motor Park. As you all know, the Utako Motor Park is bang in the middle of the city, but it belongs to AMAC. Motor parks are in the Constitution for the area councils. We're happy to say that after talking with the area council, AMAC, They have partnered with the Federal Capital Territory, and we have packaged the Utako Motor Park into a modern transport hub center. We are currently talking to 3 international bidders who are bidding to rebuild this Utako Motor Park, have hotels and hospitals, restaurants, police stations, and the idea is that at the end of the day, this again will be a model for the rest of the country. Now, in terms of social development, we have already mentioned that the NYSC camp has been completely rehabilitated and renovated. It cost us $500 million naira, 500 million naira, but we understand that today the FCT is a safe haven for many people, including our youth corpus, because of some of the challenges that we have in other parts of the country. Therefore, we have a very, very modern and conducive environment, because this is the first stop for our young people when they start their public life, and we want to show them that we care about them. In terms of tourism, we have developed a tourism master plan for the FCT, because we need to create employment for people who are migrating into the territory, and we understand that tourism is one way that involves every segment of the society. Our master plan is for conference tourism, education tourism, sports tourism, and medical tourism. I will just point out 1 or 2 things that have happened. The Minister of FCT has already talked about conference tourism. We are going to be hosting the World Economic Forum for the first time in Africa, the first country in Africa to do so next year. In education, you all have seen the private universities springing up all over Abuja. This is part of our policy to attract education capital into the territory, so that rather than taking your children to Ghana or to Europe, you can have world-class educational institutions and come and visit them and spend your money in Abuja. And they won't be alienated from Nigerian culture. In terms of sports tourism, we are developing different kinds of sports. Last year we had the Pro-Am Golf for the first time, which had the largest prize money for golf in Nigeria. We also are happy to say that this year we are going to be hosting the first youth games, national youth games in the Federal Capital Territory in conjunction with the Ministry of Sports. Medical tourism, I'm happy to say that my colleague, the Honorable Minister of FCT, has given land to the Federal Ministry of Health to have a medical mall, so that in this medical mall, all the specialties of medicine, orthopedics, hematology, surgery, everything will be there for you. Rather than going abroad, you can have world-class facilities that will be manned by international consultants right here in Abuja, and we will save the country that money. I'm told that my time is almost up. All I want to say is that, as we know, the Federal Capital Territory is also a large territory of 8,000 square kilometers. Agriculture is part of our work. We have at least 165,000 farming families in the FCT. We're happy to say that the Growth Enhancement Support Program of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture that was launched last year, where we were registering our farmers electronically and by voucher system, we have registered 110,000 farmers, and we were judged in the entire country to be the first. Abuja was ranked first by the Ministry of Agriculture and the Growth Enhancement. And His Excellency, Mr. President, has said to us that he wants us to do smart agriculture. What he means by that is that the Federal Capital Territory is going to provide a center where we will have mechanization, a laboratory, inputs, irrigation facilities, training facilities, storage facilities, marketing, all the inputs and all the value chain will be addressed so that young people can come into farming and they can do it successfully, make money, and be supported by the federal government. That is why we have also established Kwali Microfinance Bank. We have a statewide license for finance. Kwali is the first. We will be opening up new microfinance banks in the rest of the area councils. I thank you very much for listening, and thank you for your support and your partnership, and God bless the Federal Capital Territory.